Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can Fly. This is gonna be interesting.
Perfect.
All right, so I do have a mission planned, but you know, anytime I'm in Little Sammy and it's a day like today, which is the basis of what's gonna make this flight interesting, I am always willing to abort my flight plan. So as I have it planned now, as it stands now, my plan is to fly north to Cherry Ridge Airport, November 30. So that's my plan, to fly north. Now I wanted to fly south, but there's a TFR, and you know, I just don't want to get into any trouble, you know, with it, with the TFR and that kind of stuff. So that's the plan, is to fly north into Cherry Ridge, and it'll be near Lake Wallenpaupack, which will be a nice flight. Now it is gusty. It's gusting 15 knots. There is pretty much a direct crosswind, and so I think what's being reported right now, I think the METAR is saying, well, we'll listen to the weather, but here on ForeFlight, I'm seeing 310 at 13. And so that's pretty gusty. That's a nice little crosswind. So definitely gonna, you know, take my time, go through my procedures, see what's going on, and feel that? Man, if I'm not comfortable, then, you know, even on takeoff, I'll abort the takeoff, all of that good stuff. So we'll see, but that's the plan. So, but it's gonna be interesting. Clear prop. All right, here we go. Little Sammy.
Check, check. Very good. Let's turn this noise cancel on. All right, so let's go up. Check our brakes. All right, brakes good. All right, let's taxi on up. All right, so I am, in theory, I'm making a flight to the north. It's gonna be interesting to see if I can really pull this off, because yeah, the wind is really funky taking off, because it's gonna definitely be interesting. So I'm just taxiing up here, just taking my time, and one of the things that I'm doing is I'm just kind of feeling what Little Sammy is doing. And if you see, I've got my ailerons into the wind even when I'm taxiing, so that this wing doesn't come up on me. And you'll probably see me do the same thing on takeoff. I'll have the aileron into the wind, and so this is gonna be interesting, because it is it's clear, but it's definitely windy. So I'll come up here, take my run up, and then once I'm on the other side, I'll come on back. All right, in Doylestown traffic, this is Cessna 94006. I'll be departing runway 23 out to the north, Doylestown. All right, so I am going to be looking at my windsock there, and if I'm not making good power, if I don't feel comfortable with what's happening, then I am aborting this takeoff. All right, so I see 23.
Traffic, Skyline 6245 X-ray. Have you changed the landing direction to 23?
We've all been taking 23 here in Doylestown, so I'm getting ready to depart right now.
Okay, so everybody else in traffic pattern is using 23?
Yes, sir. I'm the only one now, but everybody who was here in the pattern was using 23.
Okay.
All right, heels to the floor, full power.
So 6245 X-ray, we are 8 mile final.
All right, engine power is set. Everything looks good. Oil temp, oil pressure, suction, all look good. In the green. And you can see we're turning, getting pushed. And bounced. Little Sammy's cooking. At Doylestown traffic, Cessna 94006. Right crosswind turn out to the north, last call Doylestown. Power is set where I want, mixture is full rich, and taxi landing light is coming off. Alright, so I am climbing on out, and doesn't feel too bad. I'm feeling some bumps here, but so far so good. We're doing great. Alright, so I'm just concentrating on what little Sammy's doing, what the wind is doing. I'm going to be climbing up to 6.5. So the other thing that I'm doing here is I'm really trying to be light on the controls rather than like having like a heavy fist, like a fistful of controls. Really just trying to focus on being light on the controls and making sure that I'm just making small adjustments. A lot of that is due to the fact that I'm seeing a lot of my ground school talking about being lighter on the controls when you have to make smaller adjustments, especially when you're coming in on LNAVs and things like that, and it begins to get a little smaller and that kind of stuff. And I tell you, this will never get old. So what am I doing? So right now, I am going to continue to Cherry Ridge. Everything seems good. I feel comfortable. Plane seems to be operating very nicely. And so because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and continue the flight. So that takeoff wasn't too bad. I was a little concerned about the crosswind. Is about 8 knots, but that good old-fashioned crosswind correction was good. And just looking at things, looking at the weather. Now, one of the things that's interesting is that there's no report station or no ATIS or AWOS at the Cherry Ridge Airport. So I'm going to have to pick up another airport that's close to it that it's ATIS. So one of the things about this flight is I've pushed my boundaries. So I'm going to a new airport that I've never flown into before. And you know, it was a crosswind takeoff, and you can hear that there were gusts. Back in the day, I would have heard that report and would have been like, no can do, and would have been like, no, not gonna happen. And so I pushed my boundaries, and not too much from where I felt uncomfortable. And so now what I want to do is really just kind of focus on keeping my heading, keeping my altitude, all of that good stuff. Now what's interesting is I see here, I don't know if the cam's going to pick it up, but I put the airport, the waypoint, and directed to this 430, and it looks like it's basically telling me, but it's not reacting, so I don't know if that's really, I see the needle doing stuff. I'm playing with the OBS, but I don't think that's really doing much of anything. So it could be that it's trying to read and it's too far, but I don't know. I don't know. But when I turn on the GPS, it's certainly, I see a line here, well, the needle, and it seems to be right on target with my magenta line there. So really paying attention to my vertical speed indicator. That's an indication of pitch. Also my altimeter. All right, so since I'm in cruise here, I'm going to check my instruments to make sure that my heading indicator and my compass are lining up, and they are. Making sure everything is okay. All right, so the famous ridges are coming up. Delaware Water Gap off to the right there, and just the mountains. So yeah, I am fully expecting some fun once I get over those mountains. So we're about to fly over Phillipsburg. You might not be able to see it off here, but I see a couple rivers coming together there. There's a bridge going across. Nice little town to the east of Allentown Airport. You won't believe this. My ground speed is 49 knots. Holy smokes. That is too funny. Yeah, because I was wondering like why I was going to be taking so long. Alright, so one of the things I'm going to need to check too is the timing, because I might not be able to. So with this speed, I might not be able to make the flight because I don't want to step on anybody else's time. So I got to check to see who's on the schedule, if anybody. Yes, I may not make it because it's just one of those things where just don't have a whole lot of speed. I got a whole lot of headwind jumping on. But yeah, this is so little Sammy. You know, this is one of my favorite airplanes. All right, so yes, I might have to abort. So this is going to be a first. I might have to abort just because it's going to take me too long to get to my place. All right, so we are diverting to Stroudsburg, Pocono Mountains. All right, so what I need to do, since I'm diverting, I need to get the comm, and I need to think about what else is happening, because I'm only 17 nautical miles out, and so I got a lot of stuff I need to do really quickly. One of them is I need to CTAF. All right, so you saw like I had to make a game time decision there. The other thing is, you know, I saw what time I was going to be getting there at 4:30. But that kind of speed, my concern is, you know, coming back at night. So because of that, it just makes more sense. I saw a closer out airport, which I would have to do if I was having some kind of issue. So diverting and going to a different airport. And I'm enjoying the fact that I'm giving myself, is that N53, some work to do and having to navigate. And I want to get this in where I have to make my first call. All right, so that was that was interesting. You know, this is the first time I ever made a decision based on flying too slow. I mean, I never thought that would ever be a thing. But, you know, the flying too slow isn't the issue. Not when I'll get there, it's what happens when I get there and I need to come back and what I would be facing. And so that's the decision making there in terms of what I would need to be facing and thinking about. Okay, I need to make this call. Stroudsburg traffic, Cessna 94006, about 10 miles south of the field, inbound for runway 26, Stroudsburg. Is this the first time I think I've flown into Pocono, Stroudsburg? I think so. I can't remember, but I will say that this is the first time I've flown, like, done a descent closer to, like, these mountains. All right, so the airport, I think, is right over this ridge. All right, I'm going to prepare myself for landing, so testing my brakes. My brakes feel good. Carb heat is already on. Mixture's already rich. Fuel is on the right tank, because there's only one tank. Flaps are up. And turn on my taxi landing light here. This reminds me of Lincoln Park, where you kind of go over these like ridges, then the airport is kind of like right on the other side. I think we're going to have something like that, and it's probably going to be very squirrely. I think that's the airport right off my nose. See that?
Rebecca is turning base for 29, Robbinsville.
Oh. And Stroudsburg, Pocono traffic, Cessna 94006, 5 miles east of the field, south of the field, going to do a 45 for a left downwind, runway 26. Stroudsburg, Pocono. All right, so that's the field right in front of me there. Stroudsburg, Pocono, 94006, left downwind, runway 26, Pocono, Stroudsburg. All right, so now that would have been interesting. So that airport appears closed. Very interesting. All right, so I have to confess a lesson here. This is going to be a lesson that is going to be a hard one. Be easy on me, people, because I'm learning. So, as I was coming in to land, that airport is closed. And if I had been in a fuel starvation situation, I didn't plan appropriately because I can't land. Now, in an emergency, I would have put it down on there, but all other circumstances, it wouldn't have been a good. It wouldn't have been a good day. Especially if I needed fuel or something like that. One of the things I have to remind myself to do is to check NOTAMs and to plan and understand what airports are closed, what runways are closed, and so this is an embarrassing lesson. I wasn't planning to land there. I was planning on going to another airport. As you see, I diverted because I was worried about time. And as you can see, not a decent situation. So now I'm climbing up, and I am going to take my behind back to Doylestown and lick my wounds and think about what just happened. Now, you know, I have plenty of fuel because I had enough fuel to make it there and back. But if there was a real emergency, fuel or visibility or something like that, I could have found myself in a world of hurt. So, yeah, so that's not good. So I'm being public about that mistake that I made. Hopefully everybody will be gentle with me in the comments. Yes, I am guilty of poor planning. So it's back to Doylestown, and I'm gonna get ready to start my descent. All right, y'all. So yeah, this was a huge learning. So before I talk about my learning, look out there out front, Lake Nockamixon. So for any of you folks who are in the Philadelphia region, come to Lake Nockamixon. It's an awesome lake. They've got parks, fishing. They rent boats during the summer. It's a great place to bring your family.
Traffic, we're
definitely
back, right base.
Definitely do that.
2-3 simulated engine out.
All right, so yeah, wow. I learned a little something every flight, but I learned some key lessons this flight. And Doylestown traffic, Cessna 940-065 north of the field inbound for runway 5. Gonna do a 45 for a left downwind, runway 5, Doylestown. All right, so got the airport out in front there. You can see downtown Doylestown, those two buildings right there. And then I don't know if you can see off the distances, Philadelphia. Let that nose come down.
So, like I said, hopefully you guys won't judge me too harshly, man. But I learned a lot, you know, and you get to see all of the good, bad, and the ugly. I try to be transparent. All right, let's get this on the ground. Serious crosswind. Let's go.
Not bad. Not bad at all for a crosswind landing, Russ. Not bad at all. That was not bad. Let's get those flaps up. Carb heat is cold. Not bad at all. I'll take it. All right, so thank you for flying with me. This was a very different flight.
All right, good people. Well, thank you. I mean, that was, sheesh. That was nuts. I mean, that was just such a nutty flight. And so I'm taking my lumps. I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. And I made some mistakes. So just bear with me. You're watching all of this stuff happen. This is part of the journey. Sometimes I do great, and sometimes I made some mistakes. So this is one where I made some critical errors that could have been very problematic. So be easy on me. Know that I'm learning. Thank you for praying for me. My Room 11 brothers, thank you for praying for me. I really appreciate it. And all my family. All right, Russ can fly. I'm out. Peace.